All right, so here's page 2, guys. So the big thing was page 1 went kind of slow because of how we had to kind of translate everything. This one will be much faster. All right, so we're going to translate these problems into equations only again, and then at the end of the notes, we're actually going to solve it. So this one here, Carlos makes $8 for each hour of work. Write an equation to represent his total pay after working 8 hours. Okay, so you guys would know that if he makes 8, we have talked about this before, you write down the dollars as you go, and he's making it per hour. So you'd write it up, and it's going to equal his total pay. Simple, end of story, nothing complicated about that, right? All right, a gym has yoga classes. Each one has 13 students, so we know we got 13 students. And there are C number of classes, so you guys should know that how you would write this out would be 13 times the number of classes. And then write an equation to represent the total number of students taking the yoga class, okay? Simple setups, just understand this is the very beginning of how we're writing these out. All right, and then Isabel plans to watch 3 movies each month. So we know we're going with 3, and she's gonna watch it each month. Write an equation to represent the total number of movies, annotated by N, that she'll watch each month. Simple. Okay, so as we talked about this, make sure that as you go through this year, guys, word problems don't scare you anymore and that they're relatively simple. All right, set these ones up real quick and we'll get going. All right, so hopefully you guys wrote these down. Remember, it's practicing on your own first. All right, Ruben purchased N notebooks. They were $4 each. So if you know something is $4 each and he purchased N, you guys should know that you would represent it for his total cost would be C. Simple one-step equation, right? Lena instructs 8 students in each of her class, okay? So we know she's got 8 in each of her class. There are D classes. Write an equation to represent the total number of students in each class, okay? Same with this. Jessica bought, we don't know how many, but she bought N packs. Each one had 10 pencils. And then we want to represent how many that she totally bought. So this is the beginning steps for you guys. I know you've been covering this in the past, but some of you may just struggle with word problems, so we want to make sure we can. Now, here's where we're actually going to solve and work into tomorrow's lesson, where I'm going to have you write the equation and we're actually going to solve it. All right, so it's kind of a precursor to where we are going as we go from there. All right, so what we're going to do is start with this. All right, Ruben currently has $50 in his savings account. There's a good number. He had been saving $8 each week. Yesterday he spent $142 in his savings. For how many weeks had he been saving? So we have to understand is where all these numbers fit into the equation, right? So we know that Ruben has currently $50. That's his total. Totals always go on one side of an equation. In this case, it's represented by the letter C, okay? But it's his total. Now, the problem is that he was saving 8 a week. So just like the previous examples that we were doing, when you have 8 something a week, it would be like 8, and I don't care about the variable, we'll just use X because it's easier. Now, the problem is he says he spent $142. So the question to you is, remember, we have talked about this before. What is spending? All right, spending is a negative number, and he spent $142. Now, I want you to solve it. And so this is where tomorrow, when we do lesson 2.2 and beyond, we're gonna do simple equations where I'm gonna have you set them up like old school math. All right, when I say old school, I mean your elementary school math that you guys used to do were vertical. All right, and from here, we're gonna solve and isolate the X by itself. So you could add 142 to both sides. All right, so you end up with, when you do the simple math, this drops down, it's gonna equal, and then you add these together. It'd be 192. And then your final step on this, okay, is going to be dividing both sides by 8. So you end up with X equals, and then you would put it in your calculator, or however you're gonna do it, and it's 24 weeks. So he's been saving for 24 weeks before he gets to it. All right, so I want to push this on you now so that when we do 2-2, which is a single step equation, and then we start moving forward, you guys understand what's coming. All right, so you can start getting comfortable now. Diane sold t-shirts at a festival. She made $6 for each t-shirt that she sold. So she made $6 for every shirt that she sold. All right, that's how much profit she gets. All right, her expenses were $30. Expenses are a negative commodity. all right? It's something that she spent. If she made a profit of $84, how many t-shirts did she sell? That's where you guys need to start. All right, so simple thing again. Starting what we're gonna be doing is doing a setup like this, where you split the equation in two, because what you do to one side, you have to do to the other. We'll talk about that. I know you guys have already learned that in middle school. Plus 30 and 30 to both sides. Then you drop this down, it'd be 6x. It's gonna equal, and you add these together. So that would be 114. And then the last piece is dividing. So divide this by 6 and this. You end up with x equals 19 t-shirts. All right, so that's how many she sold. Good for her. And then the last one we have here for an example is Joe. Ordered some books online for $6 each. He paid a total of $3 for shipping. Now remember, when you're paying for shipping, okay, the total cost of his purchase was $75. So we know he spent $75. If you have books and you pay also for shipping, that is an additional charge, okay? Because remember, price plus shipping. Now you're gonna solve, okay? Same thing, split an equation in two, subtract the cost from both sides, it'd be 6x equals 72. Then you simply divide by both sides, 6 and 6, and you would see that the young man bought 12 books. All right, hopefully you guys understand. This is the beginning of how we're gonna do it. What I want you to do is run through these three real quick and solve them on your own. All right, last things here. When we set these up, guys, it's not very difficult. Just please make sure that you write everything down. All right, Samantha bought some books. She spent a total of $45 after a discount of $6 off her total purchase. Ooh. Each one was $3. Okay, so when it comes down to when she has a discount and your total, how would you actually annotate that? Well, a discount is you're taking off of your purchase price. So that is a negative here. So please make sure as you guys run through these that you guys can actually understand what is being read. It's very important that you guys understand what a term of a discount means, okay? Especially when it comes to a purchase price. And then you have to think, does it make sense? Would I buy a bunch of books and take $6 away because that's a discounted price? You have to say to yourself, well, yes, that makes sense. You wouldn't add $6 to your expense like the shipping cost. This is reducing it. So think through everything that you guys are doing it and ask yourself, does this make sense? Because if it doesn't, then guess what? It's probably wrong. All right, so you divide both sides by 3, and then you would get that x equals 17. All right, Yolanda saving money to buy a bike. She has $63, okay, and is going to be saving an additional $9 each week. So she's going to be saving $9 each week. The bike costs $198. How many weeks does she got to go? You'd want to make both sides equal to each other, okay? Just like this, simple enough. So you subtract 63, because we know that's how much she saved so far. You have 9x. You do your math on this. It's going to come out to be 135. Divide by 9. And you know it would take her approximately 15 weeks to save, all right? The very last one. Lena sold souvenirs at a festival and made a profit. You know that's how much money she's going home with. She made $3 for each souvenir that she sold. And her total expenses, remember expenses are a negative cost, they're taking away from your profit, so that'd be minus 27. So how many did she actually sell? Okay, so same thing. You're gonna have to solve the single equation now. Add 27, so that would be, whoops, wrong number. All right, so we know here this is gonna be a 7 and an 8 equals 3x. And you're gonna divide both sides by 3. And you get with x equals 26. And then it'll be souvenirs. So this is the precursor, okay? On lesson 2.2, we're gonna be solving single steps. This is actually a two-step equation. So it's gonna be a simple process, but I'm gonna push you more and more as we go along. If you guys have any questions about this or concerns, all right, send me a message hit me up on Remind or an email, or come in during the class period hours. In the meantime, good luck, get on Alex, and do the homework.